I found this list on which Sonic characters should get their own movie, and pretty much I'm going to be going through the list and saying if I agree or disagree with what the page says. If you want to see the full article yourself, I'll put it in the description below. But without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first up we got Rouge. Now the article says, if Rouge had her own movie, it could be made into a spy thriller that documents on her intense escapades trying to steal away an emerald or a diamond. Additionally, the movie could shed light on how she came to be this way, and if they really wanted to, it could even expand her character by fleshing out her complex relationship with Shadow. So I think Rouge is a good character. However, I think if they really wanted to make a movie about her, she would need the help of like Team Dark and Knuckles to make the movie more interesting. There would be gun members as like side characters to help her throughout the story, and I think a movie based on her stealing the emerald from another threat would be interesting, but only having her as the main character wouldn't be nearly as cool without Shadow or Omega. Overall, I'd say she'd do just fine with her own movie. Okay, so our next character is Black Doom. In the article, it says the following. Black Doom honestly feels like a character whose backstory is begging to be explored. The mysterious leader of the Black Arms is known to have amassed an army of aliens from his home planet. So if he were in a movie, the story could focus on his ruthless rise to power as part of the large character study. So here's the thing. We just had Shadow Generations, and that gave us a good representation of Black Doom, as it created the story of Shadow trying to break an unwanted bond between the two. It made for a good game, but a movie centered around the Black Arms just wouldn't be that interesting. I feel like that would only be something hardcore fans would really be interested in because the Black Arms aren't really brought up like that, but who knows, maybe it would be interesting. But me personally, I just don't see a Black Doom movie doing that well. So next up we got Omega. The article states the following. A revenge movie featuring E123 Omega as the leading star would be an absolute thrill ride of a film to watch. Omega's mission in life is simple, track down and defeat Eggman for sealing him away for so long. So being able to see Omega's epic journey to achieving this goal would be a joy to see on the big screen. In all honesty, I think a movie about Omega getting back at Eggman would be really interesting to see. Especially if the movie focuses on a whole new army of E100 robots that turn on Eggman. The same thing about Team Dark contributing to the story can be said here, but I also think having Tails being another ally in the movie and help build new robots can be cool. He does know what he's doing, and he was seen helping rebuild Omega in Forces, so having him build more robots would help out a lot. So yeah, I think Omega can definitely have his own movie. So next up is Metal Sonic. The article says the following. Metal Sonic is an AI imitation of the Blue Blur himself, created by Eggman as an attempt to capture Sonic once and for all. The reason Metal Sonic would make such an intriguing film protagonist is because of how, despite being a lethal war machine, he also expresses signs of free will that present himself as being much more complex than initially meets the eye. Now this one is pretty straightforward. I actually think Metal Sonic can have a whole movie to himself. He's already getting most of the spotlight for Sonic 4, so giving him his own movie centered around having free will would be cool to see. If the movie was focused on destroying the Eggman Empire and bringing characters like Metal Tails and Metal Knuckles, then it would be really interesting to see how their roles would contribute to the story and play out. So I definitely think Metal Sonic can have his own movie. I mean, he technically already is, but still. Okay, so next up on the list is Jet from Sonic Riders. The article states the following. A movie that chronicled Jet's journey to becoming a racer would not only be a blast to watch, given how visually stunning it would be, but also a heartfelt viewing if it were to go deep into his presumably troubled relationship with his father. There's also the opportunity to dive deep into Jet's rise to becoming a leader of the Babylon Rogues, and how Wave and Storm came to view him as an ally. Okay, I'm just gonna say it, a movie based on the Rider series just wouldn't work in any way. First off, the Rider series just hasn't gotten enough attention to the point where a movie would even be worth watching. Like if this movie were targeted at kids, they wouldn't know who it is unless the name Sonic is mentioned. And if it's targeted to core fans, not a lot of fans would watch because they're not really known that well. Second, I don't know if it's just me, but the Babylon Rogues outside of popularity aren't really that interesting anyway. Sure, you have Jet's relationship with his father and his desire to win a race, but how would you stretch that out correctly without it being too repetitive? But yeah, I just don't think a movie about Jet or the Rider series in general would even do good. So, yeah. Alright, so the last characters we have are characters I'm really interested to talk about. Silver and Blaze. The article states the following for each character. For Silver, Silver's mystery time-traveling powers would make him an excellent character to base a movie around, especially since it could easily feed into the wider universe of Sonic. Silver could travel through iconic areas of the series past, like Green Hill Zone and Angel Island for example, before then moving to the future where he could show up in modern stages from the likes of Sonic Frontiers and Forces. For Blaze, Blaze's universe is touched on in the Archie comics and Sonic Rush, but being able to get an entire full-length movie showing how it differs from Sonic's world would be a real treat for longtime fans. As mentioned previously, this would also be an easy way to rejuvenate some life into the movie franchise if viewers end up ever watching something a little more out there and experimental. When I went to go see Sonic 3, I did think we were gonna get a Sonic 06 space movie for the fourth movie. Even though we might be getting a CD/Heroes based movie next, I still would like to see a movie that introduced Silver and Blaze into the SCU. Now yeah, 06 may not be the best at anything, but I think the story is genuinely good. If you erase the least from the whole story, it'd be a good movie. Silver is one of, if not the most underrated characters in Sonic 06. 06 did kind of make him an unlikable character for a while, but he still has a good story about time travel and saving the future. So I think it would be cool to see him and Sonic defeat Mephiles and Solaris together. And while we're on the topic of Silver, Blaze is just as cool. If anything, I'd like to see them adapt some Rush elements to give her major game some attention too. There's a lot of stuff that can be done with Silver and Blaze, and there has been an ongoing rumor about Silver being added to the 4th or 5th movie, so I definitely want to see what Paramount and Sega can do if they bring these two characters into the movie universe. And that's all the characters we got. Some of these characters are interesting enough to get their own movie because we've seen them a lot and they're really well thought out, but then you got other characters that just wouldn't do too well. I know there's a lot of hardcore fans that will probably watch all of these movies, but some other characters, there's a reason I left them out. Like, who would watch a movie based on Eclipse the Darkling? I didn't even know he existed. But anyways, I'm gonna end it right here. Who do you want to see get a movie? And with that, Zay Zaz out.